Hey, what's up everybody? Eternal Fire here, and today I just want to make a video on the changes that happened to the Prot Warrior. I wanted to make this video a lot sooner, but Hurricane Matthew hit the east coast of Florida where I live, so I was much more focused on surviving. Anyway, so I made a video about the first nerf that happened to Prot Warriors in Legion, and basically what happened there was they did not touch Ignore Pain directly, but they kind of nerfed it by reducing the amount of rage that you generate. You had 10 rage from Shield Slam and 10 rage from Intercept. Well, now they gave us back, generates 20 rage on Shield Slam, up from 10, and it used to be 15, so now we generate more rage than ever in this expansion so far. And what they did is they nerfed Ignore Pain directly, because basically I think what was happening was too many players were using the Vengeance build correctly and really having that low amount of rage generation didn't hurt us at all, because we were using alternating between Focus Rage and Ignore Pain properly. And especially at the higher levels of, Mythic Plus or Mythic rating, you had, the amount of rage that you generated from taking damage, it was just really wasn't affecting. So what they did is they gave us our rage generation back, and they nerfed Ignore Pain by 33%. So you can absorb 33% less damage now. So that kind of sucks in my opinion, but Ignore Pain was really overpowered, and I think this was their solution, because just nerfing our rage generation wasn't enough to make it that painful. So I felt this a little bit more when I'm playing, but there are a couple things that I just want to point out, a couple tips and tricks. First tip is Dragon Skin is more important than it ever was. So if you haven't spec'd into it, I recommend you reset your talents in your artifact weapon, and you make sure you get to that immediately. And then Dragon Scales is more important than ever. Blocking an attack has a chance to increase the total damage ignored by your next Ignore Pain by 40%. So now Dragon Scales is really, really important, because you're going to get more out of your Ignore Pain when you have that proc happen. So especially since you keep your shield block up as much as possible, up to 100%, based on the amount of haste you have, you're going to want to use Dragon Scales with your Ignore Pain. Try and plan for that. If you see that Dragon Scales proc happen, just make sure you have enough rage to get a full Ignore Pain, and then you can really benefit from it. So let's take a quick look at what that looks like. We're gonna put shield block up. If I could talk, that'd be cool. Now we're gonna basically just sit and hope and pray that we get a proc. See, Ignore Pain is much, much weaker now. I feel like it's on. There we go. That's the Dragon Scales. You'll see it's there. Dragon Scales. And then we're going to get a full, and that's a much, much larger Ignore Pain there. So you want to try and, time that, get a full Ignore Pain out when your Dragon Scales procs for sure, because you're going to get much more damage reduction out of that. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. Another thing I just wanted to talk about real quick was spell reflection. I've talked to a bunch of warriors, and a lot of them have said that they really haven't utilized spell reflection like they should, or if at all. One thing they changed with spell reflection in this 7.0.3 patch was that the spell reflection not only spell reflects an attack, a magical attack, but it also mitigates 30% of magic damage over the 5-second duration that it's active, and it's only on a 25-second cooldown. So if, let's say if you're doing a boss fight that has a special ability that you need to make sure you mitigate every 30 seconds, every minute, you're going to be able to use Spell Reflect every single time that's up. So, that's something to really keep in mind, especially, with Ignore Pain not being this god ability anymore. Still effective, but not as strong as it used to be. Spell Reflection is definitely something that you can go ahead and use. Because essentially, instead of Ignore Pain having to, absorb all of the damage and do all of the work, if you're going to take that, damaging ability that's a magic that's going to be magic damage from that boss fight or what have you, you can go ahead and pop Spell Reflection, which now makes 100% of that damage, only now 70% of that damage that Ignore Pain now has to handle. So it helps really smooth that magic damage out, as well. So for physical attacks, you have your shield block, which you can keep almost all of the time, especially if you have a lot of haste. And then you also have Spell Reflection, which is up every 25 seconds, and that's just something I wanted to, keep in mind, because, that's an ability that I feel like has definitely been overlooked by a lot of people. So that's really what I had to say. Ignore Pain is now a decent ability. It's not this god ability, but that's not a huge deal. And then I just wanted to scales of the scales ability and your artifact trait, and then Spell Reflect is definitely something you can use for magic damage. So I just wanted to kind of point those things out, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.